The reason why I avoided Tigris Prime for as long as I did is because I was really excited for the weapon before it came out, but then when it did eventually come out, I got really unlucky with my relic drops and I didn't get all the parts until months later. Now, I could have just bought the parts and built it that way, which would have been much simpler and not that expensive either, especially later down the line, because nowadays you can get a Tigris Prime set for about 30 platinum on Warframe market. But I didn't do that because I didn't have the weapon myself, and as more and more people got the weapon, they started making videos and they were like, well, this weapon is amazing when you build it for status, because it just does so much slash damage. Look at this, you shoot a dude in the face and then you stand around, do nothing, and he will die from the slash proc, which sounded incredibly boring to me. Because what I do not want from a massive sort of boomstick is to shoot a dude in the face and then politely wait for him to bleed out. What I want from my boomsticks is to shoot a dude in the face and for that dude to not have a face anymore. That is my jam. But it looked like that was not the case with the Tigris Prime. It looked like it had less boom than the other two Tigris versions, while in fact it has hell of a lot more boom than the other two Tigris versions and probably all the other shotguns in the game. Because while it has less crit than the Sancti version, the overwhelming amount of damage it does with the extra slash proc on top of that to kill the guys that you would probably not one-shot with the Sancti version anyway, just does way more damage than you can do with the regular or even the Sancti version. So let us finally take a quick look at Tigris Prime. So the primed version of the Tigris does 1560 damage with each shot, 1248 is slash, and 156 is both puncture and impact. It is a mastery rank requirement of 13, it fires 2 rounds every second with a 2-round magazine, 120 rounds in total, and 1.8 second reload time. It has 10% crit chance, which is not high by any means, but it's still not terrible either. It has 2 times multiplier and 30% status chance, which allows you to reach 100% status, which is what you need if you want to go for a status-based shotgun. And finally, it comes with 2 polarities, a V and a dash. So let's check out the build. It is a very cheap one Forma build where I've just added another V, and this is another good thing about Tigris Primes. The build doesn't require a ton of Forma to get going because we're using dual stat mods, and the mods are pretty straightforward as well. I'm using Prime Point Blank for damage, Hell's Chamber for multi-shot, then I've added Seeking Fury, which I use on all my shotguns for the extra reload speed and punch through, but if you're one of those Simulacrum masturbators, you can use Blaze for a lot more damage. Then I've added Sweeping Serration because the weapon does an insane amount of slash damage, so this scales it up really well. And finally, we need to slap on 4 dual stat mods to reach 100% status chance. So we have Frigid Blast and Scattering Inferno for blast damage and Toxic Barrage with Shell Shock for corrosive damage. Now, just to quickly show you that this thing does indeed have just about as much boom as any other shotgun in the game, I have my assistant over here, Mrs. Helena, the heavy gunner, to compare the Vacor Heck and the Tigris Prime. So as you can see, it does about as much front-loaded damage as my Vacor Heck, which by the way has primed Point Blank and primed Ravage on it. It's actually kind of disgusting. It's just really strong. It does about as much front-loaded damage as the other shotguns, but it also leaves behind a nasty slash proc. So it one-shots pretty much everything the other shotguns would one-shot, but the dudes that you would have to pump a couple of shots into with the other shotguns will just die from the slash proc here. I'm also a big fan of the blast proc here because it's just funny to shoot a dude with a shotgun point blank and just knock them on their arse. The vast majority of Corpus units, even level 100, will die from a single shot, not even a full burst, and that is with me still using Corrosive and Blast. And while the Infested die pretty fast as well, this is not the best weapon to take against the Infested simply due to the nature of the weapon, though it would be a pretty good backup weapon for your melee weapon, so you're running something like the Guandao, cutting the Infested by the 100, and when something like a Juggernaut shows up, you just Tigris it in the belly and it dies. So yeah, once again, I made the mistake that I always try to make you avoid, not trying something before coming to conclusions. I thought this weapon would not be fun, it would not have as much boom as the other two Tigris versions, and I thought I would like the Sancti version a lot more, while in fact I actually like this weapon an awful lot. It has enough boom to one-shot everything up to sort of level 80, and once you go up to level 100, the tougher units will still die from one shot because of the slash proc it will leave behind. And here's the thing, even if you're like really not a fan of the whole status slash based thingamajig, you can still build it with 90% elemental mod and get good results with it, because it just does more damage than the other two Tigris versions. So yeah, the only thing that may stop you from using this weapon is that it does have a mastery rank 13 requirement, so if you're not mastery rank 13 or higher, you just can't use it. But you can, as I've said already, get the whole set for about 30 platinum, and it's a 1 Forma build, so it is very cheap. Though getting sweeping serration and all the dual stat mods may cost you a little bit of platinum if you don't have them already. The weapon gets a big thumbs up from me. It is a lot of fun, it looks awesome, it sounds awesome, the blast proc knocking the enemy on their arse is really funny, and the extra slash proc you get after the initial burst of damage is just a nice bonus. If you are mastery rank 13 or higher and you like shotguns, I would definitely recommend you pick this up. This is one of the best single target weapons in the game. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching, as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.